My name is Matthew Dexter. I'm the field station manager here at Cedar Creek Institute, and I'm going to be covering the summer research and creative fellowship programs that we have at the Institute, providing some background as to what those programs are, how to apply, why you might want to apply, and some other things like that. A little bit about the Institute. Cedar Creek Institute is a nature center, science education center, nature preserve, and environmental field station. The property itself is about 829 acres. It's very, very diverse, and we'll go through a few photos just showing you what the Institute actually looks like. And it includes 9 miles of hiking trails. The property itself is free to access and open to the public from dawn to dusk every day, with the exception of hunting, part of the hunting season. So part of the entire property will be closed from now, from November 15 through December 1, and then the north part of the property is closed through January 1. So yes, it's open to the public most of the year. Our mission is to inspire appreciation and stewardship of our environment, and we do that through a number of different means, through education, through the stewardship of our natural areas, and through the research and art programs, creative programs that we offer. The Institute itself is located about 10 miles south of Hastings, Michigan. So that's kind of in this general area between Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, Lansing, and Battle Creek. And if you look at that slide, you can kind of see that we're kind of in and amongst those. About an hour from Grand Rapids, 45 minutes from Kalamazoo, about maybe 20 to 30 minutes from Battle Creek, and an hour from Lansing. The property itself is, again, about 829 acres. It's named after Cedar Creek, which flows through and borders along about 1.5 miles of stream side on the property. And Cedar Creek is actually named for the white cedar swamps that are associated with the creek. And what's particularly unique about these is that they're very common up north, but they're much, much less common as you go further south in Michigan. And this is one of the southernmost examples in Michigan of this particular ecosystem. Here at the Institute, we also have a lot of other types of natural communities, including forests. And you can see an example of some of our the beech maple or rich or mesic hardwood forests, southern hardwood forests that we have here. And we have some another great example of that southern mesic hardwoods forest that's located in a glacial ravine that we have on the property. And this is actually an image of that glacial ravine. And we also have within those forests lots of ephemeral wetlands, which host a variety of unique and important species. In addition to the forests, we also have a wide variety of wetlands. These wetlands include these prairie fens or prairie fens and marsh areas. It includes a couple of lakes. This is a picture of Brewster Lake, but we have another lake as well that's on the property called Our Own Lake. And then in addition to the wide variety of wetlands and swamps, we also have some old fields that many of which have been planted with prairie grasses and prairie forbs. And we use prescribed burning to help maintain that, as well as mowing and a number of different other kind of natural areas management tools to help protect and maintain the natural areas. And one of the reasons that we do it is for the wide variety of plants and animals that live here. One of those that is most special concern the Institute is the Eastern Massasauga rattlesnake. We have a number of other state-threatened, other state species, listed species, but this is a federally listed species, and we have a decent population of them here. And they've been an important area of research and an important focus of conservation here at the Institute. The Institute has 12 different field station consortium members. What this means is these organizations are members of our consortium, and so the students and faculty from these organizations can apply to be a part of, apply for the grants that we offer. And so if you see your institution up here, that's great. That means that you can apply. If you don't see your organization up here, unfortunately at this point, we don't have um, any funding available for you. It may still be possible to do research out here. We just wouldn't be able to fund that research. That being said, if your institution is interested in becoming a consortium members, we are open to new organizations joining. And so you are welcome to contact me, and my contact information will be available later if you are interested. We have several different opportunities for students during the summertime. Those include the environment research grants, the natural resource fellowships, and those vary year by year. Right now for 2021, we'll actually have two different types of fellowships. We also have the Gordon Art Fellowship and the Nature in Words Fellowship. This past year, we had 9 researchers working on 6 environment research grant projects, both graduate and undergraduate students. We had 3 Nature and Words Fellowships, 2 Gordon Art Fellowships, 2 Steeby Land Management Fellowships, 1 Ballo Water Resources Fellowship, and 2 Watershed Management Plan Project Field Technicians. So for 2021, again, it's going to be a little bit different, but that gives you a little idea of how many people we had that we funded at the Institute. So typically, it's going to be somewhere between likely 15 to 20 individuals. And then in addition to this, we also offer some food and housing grants. So sometimes we can have additional people that are here at the Institute. All of our programs provide up to a $4,500 stipend for undergraduate students. And in addition, we provide some additional, some other resources. It's $4,000 for research projects and $3,500 for art and writing projects. This can provide funding for equipment and supplies, and it can also include faculty stipends. And so if you have an art fellowship, you don't have to worry about purchasing your own canvas, your own paints. You have money available for you to do that. Same with research projects. And this also can include travel. So if you have travel that's part of your research project, you need to visit sites that are in other parts of Southwest Michigan, this money can go to help support that travel. Grants typically begin in April and end in November. The way most of our projects have in the past have worked is that most of the work takes place during the summer field season. We're open to work that might be outside of that, depending on the project, but that's the way most projects work, mostly because that's when people have time. We do provide housing and food service to grantees, and so that's not required, but it is something that is available for folks. And then a couple important things. There are pre-proposals due for the environment research grants. Those are due November 24th, so coming up very, very soon. But all the proposals, the final proposals are due February 4, 2021. And so we do have some time before that is due from when I'm actually giving this presentation, but it's something you definitely want to think about over the next few months. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about each of these programs briefly so that you'll hopefully have a better understanding of what that is. So our environment research grants, the goal of the grants are to enhance the health and stability of ecosystems in West Michigan by providing scientific information. And so we've had a number of different projects, and I think probably the easiest way to maybe describe them is to highlight a couple of the projects that we funded here in 2020. So one project that we've been funding for the past couple of years is some work with eastern box turtles. And eastern box turtles are one of the threatened species that we have here at the Institute. And these species, or this particular species, we've had a project team working with them, and they have been tracking adults here at the Institute. They have been paying attention to where the females have been laying eggs. They've been protecting the nests, and then this year and likely at some point in the future as well, they've been monitoring where the hatchlings have gone. And so they actually did a head starting program with John Ball Zoo, and they raised a number of hatchlings over the winter. They released them here, tracked where they are. They've been actually keeping tabs on where they are over the winter. And then next year, they'll likely be tracking both the ones that hatched this year and the year before to see where and how they travel, and what the survival rate is, and whether or not how they compare to some of the other hatchlings that had been released without actually being overwintering. We had a couple of graduate students. This is one of our graduate students who's working on a mussel translocation project. And so he had questions about whether mussel translocations actually are successful. And so he's actually translocating a bunch of mussels within the same stream, within different streams, and different similar and dissimilar types of aquatic habitats to see what the survival rate is. And so he'll be finishing up that work in next year, and we'll help him complete his master's project. And this is a photo of one of our researchers from Calvin, and they were looking at autumn olive and comparing the photosynthesis rates from autumn olive with other shrubs, trying to understand why autumn olive is, sorry, not autumn olive, multiflora rose, my apologies. Multiflora rose, why it's so successful in invading some of the natural areas around the Institute and throughout Southwest Michigan. So again, several different examples of the type of work that people are doing. There's a lot more work and opportunities out there. And if you have questions about that, again, feel free to contact me. The second program that we have is our Steeby Natural Resources Fellowship and the Cedar Creek Watershed Field Techs. We are going to have likely be funding 2 Steeby Natural Resource Fellowships and 2 Cedar Creek Watershed Field Techs for next year. In regards to the research projects, I don't know exactly how many people that's going to be. It depends on how much funding we have available. But the funding for these is a little bit more firm. And these are a little bit more like an internship. And so instead of working on a research program with both of these, they have fairly defined projects and work with staff here at the Institute to complete these complete work that we have here on site. So one example is our Cedar Creek Watershed Management Program. With that program, the techs will be spending the summer collecting data on lakes and streams within the Cedar Creek watershed, and then helping us develop our Cedar Creek watershed management plan. And so we collected a lot of data this year. We'll be collecting a lot more data next year. And so it's an opportunity for folks that really want to understand or are interested in doing watershed work to really help them gain some good experience and contribute to a meaningful project for the local community. And then our Steeby Land Management Fellows work directly with our stewardship staff, including our new stewardship coordinator, Mary Parr. And they spend a lot of time shadowing our stewardship coordinator. It might be work removing invasive species, it might be trail maintenance, it might be prescribed burns like you see here in this photo, but they are very, very involved with the day-to-day work of maintaining natural areas at the Institute. Again, this is another photo of our Cedar Creek the Cedar Creek watershed, us doing some sampling at one of our sites. And then we have our creative programs, the Gordon Art Fellowship and Nature and Words program. We will probably be funding 3, maybe 4 individuals through these programs next year. Again, it depends on how many applications we get and the quality of the applications. The Gordon Art Fellowship, the projects may involve a number of 2-dimensional visual art forms. It could include painting, photography, drawing, printing. We're even open to other things. If you have questions or you want to toss an idea out to us, please feel free to contact me. We are open to even thinking about doing some video work and other types of work like that. Nature and Words, the projects that we've funded in the past include poetry, includes short story, nonfiction work. We haven't funded someone who wanted to write plays, but that was something that we were considering. And so it's something we're definitely open to. And so we, again, if you have questions about whether or not your project might fit into one of those categories, feel free to contact me. So you can see here just some of the different work that people have done in the past. So our person in the top left there did a printing project and looked at birds and created a number of different prints of woodpeckers. The person on the top right was a poet, and she actually, when she displayed her work, had worked with a friend who was an artist, and so actually did a collaboration, and you can see the collaboration behind her of her poetry with that artwork. And her particular poetry was an erasure form of poetry, and so had a very strong kind of graphic element to it. The person on the bottom was an individual who wrote some short stories, and here he is reading some books for children. That's one of the things that we had done previously, pre-COVID, is have a lot of our artists and writers work, as well as our researchers work with the public. We'll see what next year brings. I can't guarantee that we'll necessarily be doing that. Hopefully we will. Hopefully we will get a chance to do some public education next year. And so this is one of our writers from this past year who also did a poetry project. And this is some of the artwork from some of our artists. So this particular artist from Aquinas College was interested in, did a number of pieces that had multiple media in it. And what she was really interested in is capturing ecosystems and through time. And so what you see here is a grassland, but you can see the forest that used to exist or could exist in the future, kind of overlaying that grassland area. And then this is another one of our artists from this year, and one of the paintings that she did this past summer. So in addition to working on your art and or writing or your internship or your research project, there are a number of other activities that happen at the Institute. The folks that are funded through the Institute, we have expectations that they'll complete some service hours. We'll see what that is. I know last year we reduced them just because of the complications in regards to the COVID situation, but we'll likely have some level of service hours that people will be expected to complete over the summertime. We've also offered weekly meetings. These are educational opportunities to talk about careers and professional development. And so we will continue to have those opportunities. And then we've also provided other education and social opportunities. Again, things were different this past year. Depending on the situation next year, we may not be able to do as many as we would like, but we will try to take advantage of as many education opportunities as we have. And at the very least, we'll get together for some dinners throughout the summer and enjoy each other's company in a safe and responsible manner. what resources are available to folks besides the money and besides besides money. And so we do have classrooms which can serve as a laboratory space or as art space or writing space. And so we do provide those space for all of the folks that are working out here. And so that can take place at our classroom. It can also take place at our research lab. And I will work with our funded artists, writers, to help them find the space that they need. In addition, we offer food and housing throughout the summer. Typically, most of our students stay at the housing unit that you see up at the top right. That's our Meadow Lodge facility. And you can see a bedroom there, kind of in the bottom there. Often students are double, but this past year, because of COVID, we limited the number of students in housing and also limited housing to one student per room. My best guess is next year, it's going to be something similar to what we had in 2020. And so all the folks that stay on site will have individual bedrooms, and there may be reductions to how many people have reductions to restrooms. But then we also provide food service. So typically that's going to be a breakfast and lunch throughout the summer, Monday through Friday. So that will be available for folks. What is the application process? Most projects, other than the natural resource internships, which is the Steeby Land Management Fellowship and the Watershed Management Plan, everything besides that is going to require a faculty mentor, preferably from our perspective from your home institution. And so if you are a student and you're hearing this, the first step is to talk to someone who'd be willing to mentor you. And the nice part about it is that faculty can get a stipend. So if they need an incentive, that's one incentive that you can talk to them about it. You have to develop a project, right? So either a faculty member is going to have a project and you'll be kind of put on that project, or you need to develop what you're going to do. And that's really important, because that's what we are evaluating when you submit the application. That's probably the most important thing. You know, you can have great grades. The challenge is a lot of other people have great grades. It's what is your project and how does that fit into the type of projects that we would like to see? And so spend time working on developing that project. You need to actually complete that application and proposal, and you need to submit it by February 4. So please keep that in mind, that February 4 date. If you start looking at developing the project on February 2 and you talk to a mentor, you know, that day, if you wait till the end, your proposal's not going to be very good. And it's going to be easier for us to say, yeah, it's not very good, and put that to the side. What I recommend is that you start thinking about it early. You develop it, you talk, you have those conversations, you write, give yourself plenty of time to edit. You'll have a much stronger proposal. So even though the deadline is February 4, you need to start thinking about it sooner. Think about it, work on it, over Thanksgiving break, work on it over Christmas break, whatever. Think about it. Don't wait till February 4. And then finally, if you have questions, feel free to contact me. So my email is dykstram@cedarcreekinstitute.org. There's my phone number. You're welcome to give me a call. And my information is in the applications. So, if in case you forget what that is or where that is, go there. But feel free to contact me. I want good applications. That makes in some ways it makes the process harder, but it makes it better. All right, and then finally, where are you going to find the applications? And you're going to find them on our website. And so if you look at our website, and we're going to go there in just a second here. Well, if you go to our website, you're going to look under cedarcreekinstitute.org under /research. There we go. All right. And so here is where you're going to find information about the programs. And so that's on our, if you go to our homepage in the work, you'll see that right here under research. And it'll have a brief description of some of the things that we do, who our members are, some of the different opportunities that are available. And down at the bottom, you'll have a nice description of each of these different programs. And then on here at each of these, you can click on a link and go get to a PDF version of our applications. So it talks about each of the grants, who's eligible, describes the grant award in more detail. Some of the, you can see more of that right in there. What's actually needed as part of the application, how we actually make that decision. And then at the very end, you'll get kind of a cover sheet form. And all of these, you can kind of essentially copy them, paste them into a Word document and fill this, complete this section. And so this is what actually needs to be completed as part of your application. So recommend going to the website, looking at these applications to find out what you're interested in. And just kind of mention again that if you do have questions about the program, to feel free to contact me. Again, Matt Dykstra. The easiest way is probably through email at dykstram@cedarcreekinstitute.org.